Well, I got something very special for you right now. Let me give you a little background music to kind of lead into this. So what you're hearing in the background there is a band called NOLATET. NOLATET is coming to town next week. They're going to be at Garcia's on April 8th. And let me see if I can get you a little more information about this band so we know more about NOLATET. NOLATET is a quartet. It's 4 guys. It's Johnny Vidakovich on drums. It's James Singleton on double bass. It's Mike Dillon on vibraphone and percussion. And Brian Haas on piano. And right now, I hope, I have Brian Haas on Zoom. Brian, are you there? Brian, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
There he is. I can hear you now. Hey, fantastic. Welcome to the Wizard.
Hey, thanks for having me, brother.
No problem. Thanks for being here. So we're excited about you coming into town.
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to Chicago.
So NOLATET, let's talk a little bit about this band. So let's see. It says, NOLATET famously grew out of a spontaneous 2014 guest spot in Telluride when you filled in for a missing guest with Mike, James, and Johnny. What do you remember about that click in the dressing room after that set?
Well, in the dressing room, Johnny Vidakovich was like, "Hey, Brian, now we got to start a band with you." So it went really, really well. I mean, Johnny Vidakovich, James Singleton, Mike Dillon, they are all heroes of mine. I grew up listening to all 3 of them play. And so when I got the call, they knew I was just coming off of a tour with Jacob Fred Jazz Odyssey and that I was in Santa Fe. And so I got this call and they said, "Hey, can you make it to Telluride tomorrow?" I was like, "Well, I can, but why?" And they said, "Well, we lost our special guest. And in order to make the full guarantee at the Jazz Fest, we have to have a special guest and we want you to be the special guest." And I was like, "Well, I only know like a quarter of your tunes." And they said, "Well, let's just play the 25% that you know, and let's just improvise the rest." And we were on the main stage at Telluride. Like 24 hours later, I was on stage with them. The crowd was great. The views from the stage are heavenly. You're looking right at those peaks, and the set was incredible. So that's how NOLATET started.
Oh, amazing.
Very, very grateful to get the call, and very grateful to get the call. And, you know, sometimes we just get lucky. I mean, a lot of the music business is luck, and they knew that I was a big fan of theirs and that I would probably know some of the material. And piano rounded out their trio beautifully. You know, it's same instrumentation as MJQ, Modern Jazz Quartet. And we have a similar kind of chamber music approach. I would say we're equally as influenced by classical chamber music as we are, the improvisations of John Coltrane. So it's a very unique ensemble.
Nice. So the band spans several decades in age, with you being the youngest member. Johnny being a New Orleans legend, how does that range and experience of musical history shape the way that you communicate on stage?
Well, I mean, energetically, we all defer to Johnny Vidakovich. I mean, Johnny and James have been a rhythm section now for over 50 years. They started playing together when James was 20 and
Wow.
Johnny was 26. And now James is 70 and Johnny is 76. So when you have a rhythm section that's that strong and a rhythm section that is so cohesive yet loose and experimental, I mean, it puts Mike Dillon and I in a really good place to where we're able to make new statements, take risks, and do brand new things every time we get on stage. I mean, when the rhythm section is that strong, it's really hard for Mikey and I to fail.
Nice. Now, you led the Jacob Fred Jazz Odyssey for nearly 25 years. How has playing with this specific Crescent City rhythm section changed your approach to the piano?
Well, Jacob Fred just made our 30th album, and we just did 2 shows in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're about to do 2 shows in the Bay. So Jacob Fred Jazz Odyssey still plays. We've been together now 33 years. Jacob Fred still does probably 5 to 7 shows every year. And with that band, I do a lot of left-handed bass on the Moog. And Reed plays a lot of guitar now. He also still plays bass, but Jacob Fred is a trio. I mean, the thing with NOLATET is that band is so unique. It's always an exercise in improvement. Playing with NOLATET is always an exercise in humility. I feel like anytime I get on stage with James and Johnny and Mike, I'm the youngest at 52. Mike Dillon is 60. James is 70. Johnny's 76. So I'm the baby of the band at 52. Every time I get on stage with them, I leave stage. I heard James play at the Maple Leaf in 1997. He was 23 years old. And James and Johnny are part of why I moved to New Orleans and started spending way more time in New Orleans in the late 90s and early 2000s. So I never thought I would be able to be in a band with them, but I always considered them to be my teachers. So anytime you're on stage with your teachers, it's an exercise in humility and it's an exercise in getting better. I mean, That's a great thing about music. We never get to a stopping point with music. If you think that you're deluding yourself. Like music is an exercise in constant improvement, constant betterment, and constant humility.
Yeah.
And I mean, one thing that I've learned from spending so much time with James and Johnny and Mike Dillon is if you want to get better at music, become a better human.
That's fantastic. Now, you've mentioned that the Jacob Fred Jazz Odyssey was born in Tulsa. Why was it important to return there to record this latest chapter of the NOLATET journey?
Well, it's funny, because of my Tulsa connections, NOLATET has been fortunate enough to play some really big festivals and play in front of some big crowds in Tulsa. And then this incredible jazz club opened up in 2018, 2019 in Tulsa, and Johnny has fallen in love with the club. Johnny's fallen in love with the people of Tulsa. They're huge music fans. Tulsa has become a really important music scene just for planet Earth. It always has been. I mean, so much great music has been based out of Tulsa. I mean, in the 20s, Tulsa had the wealthiest African-American community in the entire world.
Yeah.
And Tulsa has always been a music center, and it is to this day. And so Johnny noticed that when he would come to Tulsa, everybody knew who he was. Everybody would bring up his past albums, his past projects. And so Tulsa music fans have always made Johnny Vodakovich feel very at home. And then this incredible jazz club opened up with this beautiful grand piano. And for Johnny, that kind of cinched the deal. When I went to Johnny last year, I said, hey, we got this grant from Threadhead, this amazing organization, and Royal Potato Family Records wants to put out a record. We got Threadhead money to spend to make it. I said, Johnny, how do you want to spend this money? And Johnny said, hey, Brian, let's make a live record. So I said, Johnny, where do you want to make the live record? There's so many great clubs in New Orleans. Why don't we do it in New Orleans? And Johnny said, nah, I want to do it at that place in Tulsa. That's my favorite new club in America. So the club is called The Lowdown. And really the entire thing was Johnny's idea. It's like I wrote the grant, I got the money together. Kevin Calabro from Royal Potato Family is always such a generous, intelligent supporter and purveyor of our art. Calabro was down with the third NOLATET album to come out on Royal Potato Family. And, it was Johnny's idea to make it a live record. The first two NOLATET records were made at a beautiful studio in New Orleans called Esplanade Studios. I think it's the best studio in New Orleans. And Johnny wanted to do something different, make a live record this time.
Oh, it's fantastic. Nice. So now that live album, when you recorded that live album in Tulsa, do you think you're going to be able to take that kinetic energy that you got from that set and be able to translate that to Garcia's in Chicago?
Totally. I mean, they don't have a piano, so I'll be on Fender Rhodes, which that changes the sound of the band and makes it a little more intense.
Okay.
A little more, obviously it's electric piano as opposed to a grand piano. And I feel like the band always kind of responds differently to the Fender Rhodes being put into the mix. So the thing about the NOLATET is that it's a band that really thrives on risk. We're coming at it with a lot of brand new compositions. And in fact, with the recording session in Tulsa, we played so many brand new compositions. I mean, I acted as producer. I went back, I had to listen to everything over and over and over again. And we really didn't do a great job with some of the songs. Like some of them are very difficult and we're playing in front of an audience. But what always translates is the sense of risk, the sense of wild abandon, the fact that we're not playing safe music. Whether or not we nail the compositions, the audience is always in a state of enjoyment, because bands that actually get on stage and take risk in this day and age are in very, very short supply.
Yeah.
Like Tony Williams said, if you're not messing up, you're not playing jazz. And I believe that's one of the most important aspects of jazz music that has been lost in the modern age because of Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. Everybody wants everything to be so perfect.
Yeah.
And life is an imperfect experience. NOLATET does a really good job of translating real life imperfections into the live show, for better or worse. Like, we're taking real risks. The music is completely different every night. So Garcia's, it's a beautiful room. Chicago has so many beautiful, beautiful music heads who really appreciate risk, who really appreciate a band that's willing to get on stage and do something new.
Very, very cool. Yeah, looking forward to it. So the new record is described as having laid-back vibes and swinging grooves. After the rowdier goals of your third album, what inspired this shift towards a smoother sound?
Well, I mean, you've heard the record. Like, some of it is really calm and beautiful, especially the title track.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, you know, the rest of the songs, they might start placid, they might start in a relaxed way, but we're definitely exploring, in some ways, we're exploring more chaos on this album than the other two, because the other two were studio albums. When you're making a live record, there's just so much more risk. You know, you got an audience in front of you, so you can't just go, hey, hold on, stop, we're going to recount that tune, or
right.
Hey,
yeah.
we're gonna do this song again. Like, I felt like this third album has a lot of true kind of nastiness and like really risky magic on it. I think as a band, we're more relaxed and comfortable and confident with each other. Like, we trust each other more. And at the same time, I think the inherent nature of a live show, it showcases risk. It showcases wild abandon. It showcases mistakes and how you recover from a mistake. You know, like real life, just daily living, we're going to make mistakes. We're humans. I think what shows who we are as people is how we recover from those mistakes and how we admit to those mistakes and how we humble ourselves of those mistakes. And it's the same with a band playing live on stage. Like, with this third album, we figured out a way. There's a ton of mistakes all over this album, but what's cool is how we turn these mistakes into beauty. We turn these mistakes into something special and something transcendent.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. So every member of NOLATET is a composer. When you bring new pieces to this specific group, how much is on the page versus being rebirthed through collective improvisation on stage?
So, great question. You know, James Singleton always yells at me, hey, Haas, read the ink. And he says it all the time, because there is a lot of written material, but it only makes up 30 to 60 seconds of anything you would hear on the album. Like, when I say we're influenced by classical music and influenced by chamber music, what I mean is that NOLATET really thrives on the concept of theme and variations.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of ink all over this third album, right? Like, those starting points, those heads, as you would call it in the jazz world, like, there's definitely some detailed ink there. Like, the ink on black pencil is almost impossible to play. But what's special about NOLATET is the ability to really exercise theme and variations. So the main body of every composition is the variations. And sometimes, because we've gotten better as we've stayed together as a band, the variations sound a lot like written material, but they're not. They're fully improvised.
Wow. So Mike Dillon once described NOLATET's music as rebirthing an amoeba. In your own words, how would you describe the shape of a NOLATET set for a first-time listener in Chicago?
That's a great question, too. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen, because the 8th is the first night of tour.
Oh.
And so that's always the most exciting night.
Oh, nice.
Everybody's going to be rolling with their own book of tunes. There's going to be some new compositions being premiered that have only probably been played once or twice ever. And so,
Wow.
I mean, I would say, Chicago music fans love Risk. Chicago music fans have big ears, big hearts, big souls. And so Chicago music fans, they're going to be ready for it, but it's going to be unlike anything they've ever heard before.
Nice.
Because you're fusing 4 really powerful musical alpha personalities into a state of give and take, into a state of conversation, and into a state of like true musical humility. That's what makes NOLATET so beautiful as a band.
Yeah.
It is truly conversational with 4 equal conversations. There's no leader. I mean, I would say Mike and James and myself, we defer to Johnny Vodakovich because he's our spiritual guru, but Johnny's a master conversationalist from the drums. Like nobody plays melody from the drum kit like Johnny Vodakovich. I mean, to a Johnny, I'll just bring up Brian Blade. I mean, that's probably Johnny's most famous student is Brian Blade, who's arguably the greatest living drummer on planet Earth. Think how Brian Blade makes those conversations with the Wayne Shorter Quartet. Brian Blade learned that conversational style from Johnny Vodakovich. So Chicago music fans are going to get something they've never heard before with a live quartet. It's so conversational, so melodic, so beautiful, so chaotic. I mean, it sounds like real life of, the actual Earth experience is getting translated on stage through 4 people.
Very, very cool. Oh, that's fantastic. So now you've noted that this band exists simply because the music simply demanded it. After years of friendship, what's the secret to maintaining that creative spark after nearly a decade as an official quartet?
Like I said before, if you want to get better at music, you got to become a better person.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why NOLATET still continues to thrive. I would say all 4 members are really focused on our personal spiritual evolution that enables that humility, that conversation, that real life dynamic of friendship to continue to grow. It's interesting because James and Johnny will still call Mikey and myself out, but it's not a violent call out. It's really beautiful I wouldn't call what Mikey and I receive from James and Johnny constructive criticism. I'd call it more like constructive feedback. Like one time after a NOLATET gig, Johnny said to me, he's like, "Hey, Brian, you need to play Indiana in all 12 keys before the next gig." So I went home and I got out Indiana, which has similar chord changes to some other standards. And I started working on being able to play it in all 12 keys, which is not what I wanted to do with my time. But, Johnny said, "Hey, Brian, I can hear that you need to play Indiana in all 12 keys before the next gig, or at least before the next tour." I was like, "Okay, maestro, I'll go do it. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it." And it's like, that was constructive feedback. Johnny was saying, "Hey, it didn't sound to me like you put in the time learning enough of the jazz tradition. You're too focused on John Coltrane, Outer Space Magic. Maybe you need to take your playing back to the beginning a little bit, young man."
Yeah.
He said it in a very gentle way. And when Johnny tells you to do something, you go do it.
Have you done your Johnny impression for Johnny?
"Hey, Brian, what city we in?" Oh, yeah, I've done it, man. I've been on tour with Johnny. Johnny wakes up in the van. He doesn't know what city we're in. Johnny doesn't know what we're playing. He'll be like, "Hey, Brian, what time sound check?" I mean, like, we'll be on stage. Like, we were on stage in New Hampshire at this great little club. It was sold out. And, like, I look back at the maestro, and he goes, "Hey, Brian, where's my wallet?" I'm like, "Bro, we're about to downbeat, and you're asking me where your wallet is." And we go get in the van. He falls out of the van backwards into my loving arms. He's looking for his wallet. I'm like, "Hey, Johnny, the owner of the club is mad, man. We got to be on stage playing. We'll find your wallet afterwards." We go get on stage, and like before we even start, Johnny goes, "Hey, Brian, my wallet was in my cymbal bag." I was like, "Yeah, I bet it was."
Oh, that's great. Well, we're really looking forward to the show this Wednesday. So Wednesday at April 8th at Garcia's in Chicago, you're going to see NOLATET. Let's see. So what is the best place to find your guys' music or information about you?
NOLATET.com, NOLATET.com. And all the last 3 records are on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, RoyalPotatoFamily.com if you want to order the music or get a little more background. But there's some great videos up at NOLATET.com. And if you just put NOLATET into your YouTube search field, you'll find some videos of us recording albums number 1 and 2. And that'll definitely be enough to make you want to get tickets to the show. If you want to get tickets to the show, just do it through the Garcia's website.
Fantastic. All right. Thank you so much. Well, it's been a real pleasure talking to you this morning, Brian. Looking forward to the show on Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for continuing to fight the new fight with playing some unique music on your show. We really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. All right. Take care, guys. We'll see you on Wednesday. I'm going to I'll leave you out with some NOLATET here. Got some playing in the background. Thanks so much again.
It's at 8 p.m. sharp hit.
You got it. All right. Thanks so much. Take care. We'll see you. Bye-bye.
You, brother. Yeah, see you. Bye-bye.
All right, NOLATET. So again, at Garcia's on Wednesday, April 8th. Catch those guys.